this is the highlight. If you want to see the long version, oh, I mean, it's 12, 15 minutes maybe even of me yakking about all things spine. This is part 2 because this was what we called picture day. And I mean, it was over 2 hours of different pictures, scans, x-rays, you name it. Kaelyn was bending and stretching and they were doing all the things. But this is the really cool thing. Couple things I want to mention in the short video is, one, anyone, even outside spinal issues, that if your hips are being monitored and they're only taking a standing picture and then maybe one from the side, the spine guy was explaining to me that other positions are very, very important for hips and or leg length discrepancies. Is the angle that they're shooting them at, is they need both, right? Is they need a straight on, they need an upwards angle, they need one where the child is standing as straight as possible. Some children can't, so that's why they do one laying down. But yeah, all the angles, guys. So even outside of spine concerns, maybe your kiddo doesn't have scoliosis or kyphosis. If your kiddo, this is really common with CP, is being, I guess, monitored, their hips are being monitored. Yeah, just make sure that they're not skipping important, I don't know, angles that could give them a little bit more information about your kiddo's hips. Okay. That one aside, that one I was just like, oh my God. We have never been to, again, children's hospitals that are monitoring my daughter's hips are not taking these images. She can stand. So there was only one time they had her laying down. In the years that they've been looking at her hips, I'm talking a decade, people. Yeah. So I did not expect to be surprised on that side, and I mean, I guess mixed feelings. I just have a love-hate with, I don't know, science and medicine in general, but more love than hate. The second piece that was really, really kind of cool, and I'm new to this world. Our kyphosis diagnosis is, I don't know, I guess 4 or 5 years old maybe. But a couple things that they did that were really cool. One of the reasons I found the folks is I was looking at like orthotics, 3D printing, and then 3D printing and all the things. And sometimes I Google and it's the death of me, honestly. But the software part that does like the 3D kind of like images and there's all these settings, like I'm a software nerd. So I was like asking all kinds of questions about the software. So we were geeking out a little bit, but it was really, really cool to see lots of different positions for Kaelyn. And they even took images of her like in her wheelchair, and we're just like, look how terrible she looks in her wheelchair. She sits down and she does this. The other thing, they had like a posture kind of like grid wall, so they took some pictures there, but the most important thing was like all these different measurements that they were taking is they were having her, sit in a stool, reach for your toes, and they're taking measurements all along the spine to see like, are there any degrees that they need to make note of, even if it's kind of outside that kyphosis that's more dominant. And what that tells them, this is the cool part, that where her range and her flexibility is in some of those areas. And he put her in a bunch of different positions. So it was really, really cool. And I might do part 3 based on, they said a couple days and they'll have the summary report to us, because they've got to like upload all the images and all that and type his notes and things like that. So we'll be able to share it with all the people that, care about our posture. So that was a really cool thing. I do appreciate a chance to learn more. I guess 15 years into it, I'm used to bad news. I'm pretty realistic of when I should and can expect it. I'm not saying that it necessarily makes it easier. Appointment days are hard. Even if you have a good appointment day, sometimes it reminds you of all the bad ones that you had. So that's kind of the balance, right? Is like, okay, this one felt pretty good, even though we are taking the next step because we know that that curvature and that degree is getting worse, or her posture isn't improving. And we've done a lot. We've done a lot this year, and it should be. It should be. So we're just trying to keep up with the growth spurts, you know, all the things. We're really just working against her body, right? Is we want to give her the best chance to be. It's beyond comfort, right? Is we want to achieve kind of that sweet spot of her range and what that's going to look like for her functionally. And there are some independent things that just aren't in the cards for Kaelyn, or, you know, maybe we'll, on a rainy day, we'll work on them, and we're happy to be surprised by her, but we just want to meet her where she's at. And there's a lot that we can strengthen that she has already shown us time and time again that she, hey, I am willing to use this arm, not that arm. And then when she does surprise us, I mean, what a huge bonus. So this is the short one. The long one is up on YouTube. I'll link it. Lots of ranting, I guess. But all things fine. I don't think the process for kyphosis versus scoliosis would be that much different. Maybe there's more images that they take. But he was looking at all of it in case any early signs of scoliosis hadn't been detected. So, you know, I guess that's maybe the bad news that we're preparing for, is that we are looking at something that is a little bit more involved. But for now, we're going to wait to hear back on after they review all the images and the scans and the things like that. But I would highly recommend get a list of like, hey, can you guys do these images while you're looking at my child's hips? And that x-ray technician, I've always loved our x-ray technicians. They're always really fun. I mean, I walked into this new specialist office. I was like, hey, can you take a picture of her femur and tibia? My PT wants to know exactly what her leg length discrepancy is. Are you looking at that area? Am I not allowed to ask? Can you do it for free? So either way, that's kind of the update, highlights, and I think we'll do a video when we get the brace and, our initial thoughts, reactions, and then maybe we'll do a 3-month check-in. And wouldn't that be nice that, a year from now we're having a different conversation and we're less worried about her spine and her posture looks great and, all the things. But this might help Kaelyn attend more school. So positioning wise, having the right chair, having the right supports. Her first year of high school, it was tough. She doesn't attend full days for a lot of these types of concerns. I think I'm going to do, a couple more videos just to kind of see where this goes. And as of right now, I can't really weigh in on the product or the brace itself because we don't have it, but the process thus far has been less overwhelming than I thought it would be. Helpful because, just learning a little bit more about what they're going to be monitoring now that we're, you know, with a different team, and all they do is spine, which is so nice. And then, of course, you know, being able to do some of the therapy and the different approaches that he does, which, you know, I'm grinning and like doing this because everything that he's going to be doing in that clinic, we're going to be able to translate to be able to do in a spider cage. And, you know, our therapist, Denise, is always, I mean, she's kind of a nerd too. She does geek out over like new stuff, cool stuff, you know, forever a student, right? I was like, you're a doctor, you can stop going to school now. But I guess not really in a PT world, right? So I love that. I love, I just love having so many people in our corner, on our team, that can work together, communicate, and figure out the best way to support Kaelyn. And that alone has made me feel, I don't know, less alone in all this journey. Now I gotta work on making friends, right? All my friends are doctors. So yeah.